Welcome to the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investing Show, where I interview the nation's top real estate entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and other amazing entrepreneurs to help educate and inspire you to take your business and your life to the next level. My goal is to add tremendous value to you during every single episode of this show. If you get value, I'd love it if you subscribe on your favorite podcast player, subscribe on YouTube, and my very favorite, please share this with your community so we can impact even more entrepreneurs. Let's start today's show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Really excited to have my good friends James and Christina Spence with us here today. We're going to talk about how to squeeze more money out of your business. In the market where it's at right now, it's important that you can monetize every lead. You can squeeze more juice out of that fruit that you're already working with here. And that's just kind of where we are in the market. So hey guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Always good to see you guys. So
thank you.
Like old friends together here. Yeah, so I want to talk about, this is a super timely, right? Let's talk about like how do you do some creative deals to squeeze juice out of that fruit that you picked that you would have thrown away before, and how do you use your license, would be an agent to like monetize referrals or minimize your costs. There's a lot of different things we're going to talk about here, so I'm excited for that. Before I know your story, because I was there in the early days, but can you guys just share your background for those that don't know you?
Sure.
Let's see. So, we came from corporate America. James was in the financial world. I was in telecom world. About 10 years ago, we decided we wanted to go ahead and move over to the real estate space. It took a little time. So we've been in business about 8 years. You have been amazing at helping us begin the journey and continue the journey and grow the journey. We've really enjoyed Investor Fuel in this process as well, as we've made friends there and learned a lot from that. So, we have a full service business. We've got a realty side. We've got a cash buying business. We do some lending. And then we've got other things like rentals and owner financing, that type of business.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so when did you guys went through one of my coaching programs and we were just getting started? And so there's not there's a lot of people that I've coached over the years, and there's only a handful of people that I'm still, you guys, Travis Oglesby, a few people that I was there at the beginning, and we're still like, in a lot of contact here. So when was that you guys went through the coaching program?
It was at the very beginning of 2018.
2018.
Right. So in fact, January 1st, we started with your coaching, and you walked us through that year.
Yeah.
I think we did 12 deals.
Almost 8 years.
Year. Yeah.
And just kind of curious, like how many deals have you guys done now over the past 7.5 years or so, roughly? What would you guess?
Couple hundred. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe 220, something like that.
Yeah. You don't have notches on your belt or anything, James? Or
no, I got some scars.
Zero wounds in your back. I like to say. So cool. Well, it's been awesome to get to know you guys over the last 8 years and kind of see your progress. And there's a lot of ups and downs, and we're riding some waves together, right? So
absolutely,
super fun.
So let's talk about. I want to jump into kind of in this market, people are like, hey, I got to get scrappy. I've got to do some things maybe I wasn't doing before or whatever. So let's kind of jump into some of those. So let's talk about kind of lead generation first, because it all comes from your lead generation. I think you guys are of the same belief as me, is you got to do a lot of lead generation to make this business work. And then when things start to get tight, you're like, how else can we monetize all these leads we're getting? Right. So would you mind, Christina, maybe just talking about what you're doing from a lead gen perspective and what your kind of beliefs are on lead gen?
And thank you. Yeah, this is, a very important part of our business, because there's clearly the lead gen side, and then there's what do you do with the leads when you get them, right? So no matter how difficult it might be at this moment to do dispositions, which I know we'll talk about in a second, and there's always a need to continue your lead gen. A lot of people right now in this market are sitting back.
Yeah.
Right? They're not interested in investing in properties or spending money or actually lending money to others. So very important for us that we just keep going. And we treat that as a separate business, right? So our lead gen business has a budget and salespeople and, lead managers and so on. And the thing that we've always done and continue to do and press on is multiple sources. We definitely want to have multiple sources of lead gen, whether it be PPC, whether it be SEO, cold calling in some cases, right? We're also buying some leads from others. We've used Investor Machine for a long time, right? Where we are having a done it for you set of leads. So lots of different ways, because it never works the same way. One day we'll get 5 postcard calls, the next day nothing, right? So where are you going to get yours? SEO. So there, and then some of the lead gens that we have are long-term games, and some of them are short-term plays. So we got to have all that. So I think we do about 10 different things in our business.
I know it's been tough in a kind of a difficult market. Like people want to cut their lead gen.
Yes.
People want to cut costs, and I get that. I'm obviously biased because I own a lead gen company, but I even before that, I've always thought that marketing is the last thing you want to cut, just because you're not hurting yourself now, you're hurting yourself 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when those leads come back around.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't think, they're so transactional, they're thinking about today or tomorrow, and I get it. It's a tough decision, but you got to keep going. Yep.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And an example of that is, case in point, is what you said, right? Right this moment we have 6 houses on the market. That's difficult, right? A lot of people will be like, whoa, we don't want to buy anything else, right? But nope, there's 12 houses on our that we have either under contract or have purchased, right? And we're just going to continue going because this is the time to keep at it. And if you're disciplined, right?
You have to be. You have to start to buy deeper and deeper.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, nobody should stop buying. Just buy them deeper, like swing for the fences. And if you don't hit it, maybe you're getting less deals, but you're going to be sure that they're going to be profitable deals.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. So are there different things you do with different leads? Like, let's talk about kind of how to monetize. Well, we were going to talk about kind of creative deals. Like you guys historically, because I know early on I taught you guys a lot of things. I'm not historically a creative deal guy, and I understand the value of that certainly over the past few years. But what are some things you're doing from a creative standpoint, James?
Well, we have had a really hard time adding rentals the past year and a half, 2 years. Just what rent is versus what it takes to acquire the property. It's tough to get them where they're going to cash flow, and so we kind of necessity went toward trying to find situations where somebody would take hopefully the same price, but maybe a slightly increased price, but with good owner finance terms. And, particularly with a property that a seller owns, where they don't have a mortgage and we don't have to get into wraps and sub-twos and things like that, although we do some of that. But our preferred model would be, I'm buying a house from Mike. Mike owns it. He's just a tired landlord or whatever. And we talk about, hey, why don't we let you continue, getting those monthly checks, but not have to worry about HVAC going out and hailstorms and clogged toilets. Most times when people are selling, they want their cash now. But if they don't, we've been able to put together some pretty awesome terms where we can then take that and we can create our own wrap and sell owner finance to somebody else, or keep it as a rental.
Yeah.
We're not in the under 30 crowd. We're in the well over 30 crowd. And so
barely,
obviously I said, well,
okay.
So obviously, we're concerned about trying to create cash flow down the road. So, at some point we can pull back, not maybe work so many hours. And so we put owner finance deals and rentals in the same bucket. Owner finance cash flows better, but the big significant difference is you're giving up the long-term appreciation of the property.
Right.
You sold it.
Yeah.
Whereas with rentals, not so much cash flow, maybe negative cash flow temporarily, but you should have some equity built over time. So on the creative front, if people can just target that's the simplest, that's the cleanest. You don't have to worry about sub-2 demands and things like that.
Yeah, you mentioned tired landlords, so I know. We just paid off a couple of owner finance deals. People owner finance to us, and we kept them as rentals. And what I found is that a lot of those folks, they like the idea of mailbox money, but they hate being an active landlord, especially the ones that only have 1 or 2. Like they're like, I like the concept of it, but conceptually, the concept hasn't worked out for me. Right. And so, do you target specific leads? I mean, do you bring that up once you know they're a landlord, or what other lead sources sometimes bring up that opportunity?
That's my preferred lead source across the board, tired landlords, because it's you're not dealing with the messy personal distress that you get into with some other channels.
Right.
So I like it. It's more of just a business play and appeal to to their logic. So that is one of the filters that we apply. We love particularly out of state tired landlords, particularly if they only have 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So we target that to the extent we can. Obviously, there's not enough of that, even a major market like we're in, to live on that. But yeah, we target that for sure.
Yeah. One thing I want to go off on a tangent, but you guys talked about like the importance of having recurring revenue, right? Rentals, notes,
Yep.
things like that. And I think everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people ultimately realize that I wish I had kept more
Yes.
for
Sure.
wealth building or cash flow or whatever, especially in a market like this. The people that I've known that have been in the business for a long time that can say, well, I'm going to pull back a little bit because I've got a rental portfolio or I've got another stream of income essentially to kind of help weather storms. It allows you to like take a breather if you need to, or it allows you to reload and not, if all you do is wholesale, you can never stop no matter what's happening in the market. Right. And so just talk about that. That's an evolutionary thing. Like you guys, early on, you guys were just trying to do deals, and that's how everybody is. Like, when did you kind of realize the importance of that to your business?
So for me, and you should probably answer because I guess we've never talked about that, but from my perspective, it's one of, I've seen a lot of people that, you mentioned wholesalers, that treadmill never stops.
Right.
If it does, you're not making any money. And so that was always a concern to me. We love what we do. It's fun, and I'd do it forever. But then there's also that physical reality that, well, what if you break your foot and now you're in a cast and you're on crutches? Because you and I have both been through that. It makes you think, well, you know what? I'm maybe not always going to be able to run around, at the pace that I do. And so for me, it's that I'm not one of these people that I can't wait to reach a certain threshold and then I'm going to spend every day on the fishing boat or on the beach. That's not me. But I don't want to answer for Christina.
And the thing is, we do all this entrepreneur stuff, right? Because we do want to have a different quality of life. It's not about having the, daily grind, right? And I think if you're just wholesaling, you're absolutely in the daily grind, and you actually have to multiply your hands and feet to actually even make it. Same thing with, I think, flips. Absolutely, you need the flips because you need working capital. But how are you planning for your future, right?
Yeah.
And I think the younger you are, the more cool it is that you have rentals.
Yeah.
Because those will be paid soon after.
Yeah.
Right? You have actually some leverage if you need it. One day you're going through a hard time. Okay, well, then I'm going to refinance, take some money out. So it's a really good safety net. Now, I will say that when we started, we were like, hey, good, we have a first rental, right? Which is a great start. But the truth is, if you want to retire on rentals, you got to have a good number of them, or they have to be paid off. But it's a fabulous way, I think, to have operating income coming in when things are tough with interest rates. So what, right? You should still continue to grow that business because one day you can refi.
Yeah.
Right? So today you're paying 7.5% to get a rental, right? But okay, 2 years from now it might be less, and 5 years from now even less than that. We don't know.
Right.
So we are totally big proponents. We love rentals because of where we are. We love owner financing even better.
Yeah.
And I think James alluded to that.
Yeah. We often, I think eventually will owner finance off our whole rental portfolio. What that looks like, I don't know yet, but because they never cash flowed as well as we had hoped or liked, but the appreciation has been incredible.
Yep.
And I don't really want to be a landlord forever. At some point, we all want to be the bank, right, and have recurring revenue. And we do have a portfolio of notes as well, and those are no drama. They cash flow way better.
That's right.
Yep.
You get a loan
rarely
service.
get paid off. Like we've had a few, but not.
You don't get a phone call from your note that, hey, the roof is leaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it just straight up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So let's talk about, James, your license. Obviously, we talk about just kind of how to squeeze more juice out of all this fruit. So, what are the benefits? I mean, in some states, it's becoming more of a requirement now to be licensed. Right. But even if it's not a requirement, there's ways to make money from leads that you can't close, minimizing your costs when you list properties. Like, just talk about the benefits of being licensed.
Sure. So I got licensed just prior to starting our business. It was only ever intended to be in support of our business, and it turns out it was a better decision than I even realized at the time. At the top level, what it costs me for just to have a license, I get peak level data, in terms of market intelligence, et cetera, for the same or less money than I could buy anywhere. We save a great deal of money retailing, our flips. When we sell them, I just pay a very minimal amount to, flat to my broker. And we essentially save at least 3% on every sale transaction. Multiply that a couple hundred times, it really adds up.
Yeah.
In addition to that, it kind of gives you insight and contacts into a slightly different vein of our business. Most realtors aren't investors, even though they might want to be, and vice versa. So I think if you learn to kind of split that gap, there's some advantages there. I would say also
in terms of deals coming your way, like possible referrals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also in controlling the deal, right? As you're taking it through from acquisition to disposition, because you've got the whole gamut.
And from a credibility standpoint to a lesser degree, but then also kind of understanding how those brokers and agents think, you are able to negotiate with them a lot more effectively when you kind of get to go behind the curtain and you're in some of the same meetings they're in.
Yeah.
Then you understand the tactics and whatnot that they're being taught at an institutional level. That's all good. In Texas, you don't currently have to be licensed to do wholesaling, but I think that day's coming. There's signs of that.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd be a fan of it because I think there are a lot of people out there running fast and loose that, ultimately we have to compete with. They can be breaking all sorts of rules and regulations, and there's no recourse because it's not a regulated activity. I feel like if everyone had to be licensed, even to wholesale in the state of Texas, it would just make it a much more level playing field that the reputable professionals will benefit by.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, in most states, like the problem is some of the laws that have in some states are just flat out making wholesaling illegal or other things. It's like that's too far. Right?
Sure.
But if you have to get licensed, it's not the end of the world. And there's some other benefits too, like when you alluded to it a little bit, when you sell your houses, like are you typically listing them or are you handing them off to somebody else?
I list every single one.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, the stuff we do off market is different, but anything that goes on the MLS, I list it.
And some people will, negotiate with the seller, and the seller won't take their cash offer, and they're like, well, I could just list it for you, and they make money that way. I know a lot of investors don't love to do that, but one of the things that's just a reality is with appreciation, like the agent commissions are approaching a traditional like assignment fee, like they're not that far off.
That's right.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, and then I've kind of told people like, look at it from the standpoint of that's not your business of like I'm an agent and you shouldn't make that its own channel necessarily, but it's like I give this analogy of fishing. It's like, well, if you've been a fisherman and you think you've got one and you didn't get it, when you're reeling it in the whole way, you're thinking, I hope I still have my bait. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
James appreciates that.
Exactly.
It's the same thing for real estate investors. It's like, well, this isn't what I wanted, but at least I got some of my bait back. And so if you use that and you just keep plowing it back into marketing to hopefully catch the big one. Right?
Well, you alluded earlier to how we try to wring the most we can out of the marketing ad spend that we do and the marketing efforts that we have. And so just like we're super diversified on the lead gen channels, we also work really hard to find multiple ways to kind of reutilize that bait, right?
Yeah.
If we go to try and buy a house and it's not really an investor deal, there's no value in the seller. I mean, they're going to get more to list it. We'll give them an offer if they're like, well, there's a compelling reason why we don't want to list, because we have had that. But for the most part, people are thinking, oh, I'm going to save 6% because I'm going to just sell it to an investor, and they don't realize if we can turn that into a listing appointment, even though I don't want to take the majority of those listings, we're building out additional people and referral sources that we can refer that out to. Same thing with like buyer's agency. I would never do that. I've done it for friends a few times, and I keep telling myself it's a good thing we're good friends because I really don't enjoy this aspect of things. But we try to have as many referral sources as we can and ways to monetize that very expensive lead gen, because to your point, that enables us to plow it back in, do additional lead gen, get more specialized in where we make the best margins. So we refer to contractors, to mortgage brokers, to other agents, everything we can do, even if there's not immediate return in that for us. We're big believers in that. The more that we refer to other people with no expectation of anything in return, it more than comes back to us. people.
Yeah.
And
Let's
it
talk about
really
that a little
does.
bit,
We've
yeah.
seen that over the years. We've had repeat sellers, right? We've had agents reaching out to us. We've bought just a couple deals recently from a contractor, right, who we have given a lot of business to. So there's that network is so important in what we do. And I wanted to go back for a second and say, when you have that agency situation there where the expertise is building, you have better credibility with the person you're standing in front of to actually sell their house, right? Whether it's that you're going to buy it or you're going to actually list it for them. And then you get to control that process. You have a lot of experience in talking to other agents on the back end on what to do in the front end to make the house better and ready to
Yeah.
sell. Right.
Yeah.
And certainly we always buy the same way, no matter what the exit strategy is on that. But yeah, so I think the referrals network for us has been growing in tremendous ways.
How do you like? You guys know how I stand on this. I've always been a big believer in just a power networker.
Yeah.
Being
Yes,
thoughtful.
you're
Christina,
amazing.
you're very thoughtful with gifts and things that we do a lot of gifting here. And so just talk about like how to be intentional about creating that referral network of people, because it takes some intentionality, and it also takes like getting rid of that transactional mindset.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we're like, well, I don't need that person right now. It's like, well, but if I send them business, if I go out of my way a little bit, like you have to believe that karma's alive and well, and I think it is. It comes back around. So how can you be intentional about kind of building out that referral network?
Thanks for asking for that, because that's actually my favorite topic to talk about.
I know you got all bubbly, smiley. Yeah.
Always good to smile, right?
And I was just hoping that you were going to direct that question to Christina.
We have different strengths. We love that, right? It's good to complement each other. So, one of the things that's really important in our business, kind of a core thing, is the values that we bring in our business, the values that we have within our teams, and how we treat our customers. And I think the word compassion and care and integrity are all over our logo or all over everything that we do and say. We train our people in the same way. So I think this intentionality comes from true care, right? Because as we get to know our customers, we don't just talk about the house. We get to want to know who they are, what makes them tick, what's paining them at that moment, right? So we can figure out what things are important to them, right? Maybe someone needs some help to move and so on. So some of that intentionality continues past the sale. I have maybe 25 customers that I keep in touch with, and it's been maybe 2, 3, 4 years, right? But I'll call. Why am I calling? I'm not asking for new business because, okay, maybe one day there will be, but that's not the goal. The goal is to continue and for them to know that we care, for them to know that, there's someone who hasn't forgotten them, and to talk about things that matter. We do the same thing when we go visit customers for the first time. The notes are not just about the house or the ARV or all those things. We take notes inside our CRM about what's going on in their lives. So gifts are related to that, right? Some people want a Home Depot card, right? Somebody wants to have us help them, do a garage sale, whatever it is that's necessary. So we are very intentional in all aspects of our business. On retail listing, we will have a different approach than we have on someone who's got 3 days before they have to move into a retirement home.
Yeah.
Right. So it's always intentional. It's part of what makes our company tick. And everybody's super excited about that, whether we're building a house in the Philippines, right, or just doing a garage sale at like 282 degrees in the middle of summer, right? So either way.
Yeah, that's the predicted temperature for July 1st.
Pretty much.
Yeah, 282, I think. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'd like to tack on into that. Christina is wonderful at the gift giving and being thoughtful. And I admire it. And, in some ways I wish I were more like that, but I'm not naturally wired that way. But from another side of the referral thing, the way I work with our vendors, with our contractors, the way I treat them, my call never goes to voicemail. When their phone, they see my name, they know, okay, this is going to be money, right? I'm going to get some business. I'm going to get paid. And so we're also very intentional, even with our internal customers, which would be our vendors and relationships, to where we're not calling and wasting anyone's time. We're very on point. We're very transparent, and we do what we say we're going to do. It's a little tough to articulate that to a potential seller of a home. Right? They don't know us, But with the people that we repetitively work with, you can establish that. And I think that's in some ways just as valuable because it just streamlines so much where you get past the whole trust issue and everyone just works.
Yeah, it's hard to know where in this business, like one extra deal here and there could make your year or make your month or make your quarter, right? And so it's hard to know where those are going to come from if you're just serving people that could bring a deal to you and you don't know, right? And so I've kind of found there's just been people that I haven't talked to for a long period of time, but somewhere along the lines I did something well enough to where they thought of me when a deal came their way. And it could be, and a lot of times it's somebody that you don't deal with that often. It's like, could be a specialist, like a HVAC guy, a window guy or somebody, right? And it's like, you just find ways to send them referrals because doesn't hurt you at all.
Exactly.
And in fact, you're kind of paving this path that you benefited them. So when you call, they're not sending it to voicemail. They're like, I'll help you. And like, I'll put you at the front of the line.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great.
Big believers in that.
James does a great job in working with our contractors and making sure they're taken care of as well. And then we have peripheral vendors, right? Whether it be the lawn care guy or the HVAC guy. I think sending a good word, whenever I send some things to my title lady who's been amazing to us in our lives, occasionally I'll throw in a silly recipe or I will put in a gift card or whatever, right? And those things are like, what? But the next time the phone rings, they answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's, and it's not always about making money on those referrals. I mean, there's some people you can refer people to and make money. There's some that's just building the relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's when there's absolutely no tangible benefit where it could be as simple as giving somebody an additional $50 or $100, like, hey, just wanted you to know we appreciate you. This job was a little harder than you thought.
Sorry.
Here you go. Have dinner on us. And you can't make that the expectation because that would get expensive. But in times where that makes sense, to do little things like that can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in our industry, and it's a small industry, as we know, right, that not only not do those things, but they're actually mean or they're not nice. And you're like, okay, what? Because they're not going to be in business very long. That's right.
This is a big, small town.
Yeah. That's right.
For sure.
Yep. Anything else you guys are doing to make sure you kind of monetize everything you possibly can? Anything else that we haven't covered yet?
I think there's always extensions to our business, right? So we're looking to see how we're going to grow our network, whether it be on the realty side. For example, we have a customer right now where we're looking to either buy their house or wholesale it for them, and they're in it, right? There's no secrets on that. And then we're looking to find them a house, and whether it's going to be us showing it, most likely one of our other agents, right, that are under James, and also sending her 3 contacts for a mortgage, right, a mortgage broker, so that she can pick her favorite. That helps the deal stay together. It helps the deal be timed properly, and we add value to that customer. So we have built a network of trades and a network of capabilities so that we can use those as necessary. At the end of the day, it helps us make sure that deal closes.
Yeah.
And it kicks out some of our competition who could only do one thing, right?
Yep. Would you guys mind, you've been in Investor Fuel for quite some time now, a long time. Yes. Would you mind just sharing your thoughts, a little brief testimonial on what Investor Fuel has kind of meant for you?
Absolutely.
You want to go first? Because I definitely have to answer that question. Go.
So
2 testimonials.
Come on.
The way I describe Investor Fuel to people, I mean, we're going to assume that people understand it's probably one of the top paid masterminds in the country, but it's not so much the mastermind piece of it that I see as the huge benefit. We get together quarterly around the country, and what that quickly evolves into is you feel like you're going to go hang out with your friends and buddies every 3 months. And everyone gets to kind of compare notes, and market cycles are different in different parts of the country. So to hear what's happening, in other places, and learning by that, super useful. But just the friendships, the business friendships that have developed through that, and also the personal one with like the side, non-business events that you put together, which are amazing. It's really a combination business lifestyle thing that, I don't want to tell you can charge me more because I prefer you don't, but there would be value even if you did, because it's we have the company that we have today, initially because of your coaching program and the mentoring that you did. But, we went from that to being just good friends. And then that circle expanded with Investor Fuel. So as I can't say enough good about it. And anytime someone calls me to ask about it, which, happens, fairly regularly, what I tell them is probably not what they expect to hear, but I share what I just said with you, that, hey, you're joining a friend group of people that really, check egos, care about each other. And, the financial return for us on that is incalculable. I mean, it's been amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things either. I will tell you, there's multiple things I love. We've been in Fuel almost 8 years now. So it's probably the best thing we do for our business, not only from a friendship standpoint, because, face it, at the end of the day, investors, especially the more you're in the business, the more strange you are in a good way, right? But we get each other. And that is a really valuable thing for keeping you going, whether your business is doing amazing, whether your business is doing terrible in this moment, right? There's people in that room that really know what's going on and can really help you, right? My parents love me. They have no idea. Right. My friends some days are like, "What? Are you a realtor? Exactly what?"
My own mom thinks I'm a realtor.
Right. So, right. But
Well, you are.
I am. Yeah, that's true.
The getting you factor is amazing, right? Just like if you were in high school and you were in the football team, right? And you guys all got each other in that space. So this is a tremendous professional place because everyone in there is doing amazing deals and crazy stuff. And this is where not only we learn new things that are going on in our business, but we're continuing to also bounce back and forth with people. Hey, should I do this? What are you doing about that? Right? We talked about multiple lead sources. Where did we learn all this? In Investor Fuel, right? Where did we learn that, at this moment, cold texting is not working, right? And there's all these new regulations. So there's knowledge, there's friendships. And one other thing I love that you've implemented, Mike, is there's different levels of expertise and deal making. So, you've got level 1, level 2, level 3, and you get the opportunity to grow. And it's kind of a cool day when you're kind of graduating from one level to the next, right? But also in the next level you're aspiring to go to, you're going to see people who are better than you. And that is the best place to be, right? Is where you've got people that are as good or better than you, because then you're continuing learning and also seeing life cycles of people's businesses, which is amazing.
Yeah,
I know that's a very long answer, but
No,
I could go on
that.
some more.
I appreciate that. I think one of the best parts about it is it's real easy to get stuck as an entrepreneur, just freeze.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you've got somebody that's like, come on, this is how you do it. Like you've been through worse or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we're always the type that are like want a 10 exit in the morning, and by lunchtime we're thinking about shutting it down, right? And you need somebody to just kind of help pull you off the ledge, and they need you to be there for them when that happens.
That's right.
Too. So yeah. Awesome. Well, if folks want to connect with you guys, you've got a lot going on here in the DFW market. Where can they go to connect with you guys?
I think the fastest way is to get with us on Facebook. So it's James at JCA Freedom, and I'm Christina at JCA Freedom. And then we certainly can share other social media because, that's one of the places where we have to be very
You guys are hanging
focused.
out.
That's
Awesome.
right.
Awesome. We'll add some links down below. Thank you guys for joining me today.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Always good to see you guys. You guys have been in this office quite a bit.
We have, and it's always fun. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. Look, at the end of the day, you've got to find ways to squeeze more juice out of that fruit that you're picking. You got to find ways to monetize your business a little bit more. It's those little bitty things that kind of keep you moving forward and profitable. So appreciate you a bunch. Hope you enjoyed today's show. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.